still loose. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles?
For many, the history of United States hockey begins and ends in 1980. But the history of U.S. Olympic hockey cannot be told without first remembering those who have been forgotten. Though not as recognizable as other names in hockey, the players of the 1972 Olympic team must forever be remembered in order to tell the complete history of United States hockey. For in order to truly believe in a miracle, one must first understand its origin. This is their story.
Really too late to call, so we wait for
No one had any reason to believe the 1972 United States Olympic hockey team would even place. But Coach Murray Williamson had a plan. A plan that was born over shots of vodka with the father of Russian hockey, Coach Anatoly Tarasov.
We became very close. He came to me one time and he said, "You come to Russia and I'll show you some stuff." So I flew to Russia. He showed me what it takes to be conditioned and prepared hockey team. There was a new standard that we adopted.
Despite the height of the Cold War and being from countries that were sworn political enemies, the father of Russian hockey took his American friend under his wing.
I had a camera and I was taking pictures of their dryland training, which was very primitive. Everything was the pace, and tempo was a key. It's a good coach is a good musician.
You know, we never lifted weights. We never did off training until Murray came in with what Tarasov was doing in Russia, and I think it revolutionized the game. It took a while, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. But certainly Herb Brooks picked it up and made it happen.
back in the U.S., back in the U.S., back in the USSR.
And though they were fierce competitors on the ice, that relationship also ended up extending to each team's players as well.
There was a huge respect, and we really did get to know them even though we couldn't converse with them. And their skills were amazing. Later that year came the series where Team Canada faced against the Russians. We were all rooting for the Russians because it would give us more respect to say, you know, these are the guys we were playing against.
To further complicate Williamson's goal of changing the way the U.S. approached international hockey, the Vietnam War and the turmoil of social change preoccupied the country's collective conscience. Some members of the U.S. hockey team were being pulled out of the jungles of Vietnam to try and represent their country in a different fight.
I can remember being in Minnesota, and we picked Stewie up at the airport when he came into Minneapolis. He hadn't skated for a while. He was shooting practice pucks up against sandbags. We knew he was a great player. Could he get it back? But Stewie especially knew that if things didn't work out there, probably Uncle Sam would be inviting him back to Southeast Asia.
Timmy Sheehy and Henry Boucher and of course Stewie Irvin was, you know, sucking air through a lily pad. And the Army said this young man could represent his country in international competition more than he could in the swamps of Vietnam.
For those who were currently serving in Vietnam, and for the rest of the team who all had draft numbers, making the team became a matter of life and death.
Well, if you don't play well, if you don't follow the team rules, you go back to Vietnam.
Similar to their brothers on the field of battle, the stakes associated with making this team brought them together and forged a bond that few teams have ever seen.
These are friends for life. You've been through something that very few people go through, and we're very fortunate that we didn't have the mass coverage, I think, in a way.
I think I didn't pick these guys. I think I was blessed with them.
I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound?
More than 40 years later, the accomplishments of the United States Olympic hockey team striking unexpected silver against the world's greatest hockey teams at the 1972 Olympic Winter Games seemingly has been one of hockey's most well-kept secrets.
Not a lot of people were real hockey fans maybe back then, and like I say, it wasn't on TV. We weren't known. They didn't know anything about us going in. They didn't know we were picked to end up in last place. 5 minutes before I got to stand on the podium and accept a medal, they cut off the coverage of the thing. I didn't even cover that for us. So.
Every time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going